My name is Juan Pichardo. I'm a state senator for here, the District 2, which is Elmwood, Reservoir Triangle, and South Elmwood. One of 38 senators in the state of Rhode Island, so therefore I work for you. Got that? Excellent. All right, so part of the reason that I'm really partnering with Serve Rhode Island and Connecting Future is to help continue to bridge the gap in terms of the skills and getting young people internships and also jobs. That's why we're continuing to outreach to the community. I could bore you with statistics, but the challenges that we face are huge. But we have faith that we can bring all the resources to this community and set an example that we want to get an education, we want to get an experience, and we want to do it the right way. The concept here is to ensure that not only give you the information, but that there is someone behind you trying to help you and walk you through the process, making sure that to help you with your resume or other things that you may need. That's for the youth, but also for parents and adults to make sure that we increase your level of skills. Good? Excellent. So I have invited several guests that are key in our community, in the district, but also in Providence and the state of Rhode Island, as the Commissioner of Education, Mr. Ken Wagner. Thank you. Welcome.
I was elected to my local school board. In New York it's called school boards, here it's called school committees. The people who are charged with overseeing their schools in their local hometown. When I was 18, when I was a senior in high school. And the reason why I did that, my friends came to me and said, hey, do you realize that you only have to be 18 to run for the school board, and you can try to make a difference in the way schools are serving the kids and the families in our town. We think you're the guy to do it. And I said, you know what, I think I can try to help. And the reason why I thought it was so important for a student to be on that board was because the student is the people that we're all trying to serve. And if we can't respond to the feedback and the perspectives of the students, if we can't explain what we're doing to the students, then either we shouldn't be doing it or we better figure out a better way to explain it. And that was how I got my start in education 30 years ago as a school board member, as a student and a school board member, and now in my current role of commissioner, overseeing the schools across Rhode Island. I've never forgotten that lesson. I've never forgotten that lesson that I don't matter except to the extent that I'm helping to make your lives easier as you move through your schools, move through your community, and then beyond what you choose to do. There's two things that I'm going to be focusing on and talking with people about, and how I hope I can be helpful. One is thinking about how we empower the people in our local communities to have impact on how our schools are run and how our schools serve us. I think that for too long, it's been the people like me at a state level who have had the power over things that are being done, or the people at the central district office level who have had the power. And we need to make sure that the power is located at the school level, where it's as close to the community as possible. And that's a shift in Rhode Island. That's not the way Rhode Island has operated. And I'm going to get some pushback that maybe some folks think that the power should stay at a more local level. And I'm going to do my best to advocate that no, we need to move it to the place where we're serving people, and that's at the school level. And if you agree with that perspective, I hope that you would start talking about it as well. Because anytime you try to shift where the power sits, the people who have the power don't necessarily want to move it around in the way that gives some of it to someone else. So that's something that I'm going to be talking a lot about, and a lot of folks agree with what I say, and some folks don't agree with what I say, and maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to have that conversation. The second thing is just really thinking about how we do schooling. If you're a student right now, you can just kind of nod or smile on the inside if you think that sometimes the way we're doing schooling, how we organize the class day, the school day, the lessons, the courses, the classes, the assignments, all of that kind of stuff, like, does it just feel a little weird sometimes? Does it just feel a little bit like not like real life? Like maybe we're just learning something through books, but that something that we're learning through books isn't necessarily going to help me in the real world, in the world that I have to navigate when I'm done with school. Now, I've been feeling that way for a very long time. I felt that way as a student, and I try to hold on to that memory because I really just believe that our schools right now, in some ways, were designed for the 19th century. We're in the 21st century right now. Maybe every 200 years, we should take a look at how we do business. So that's another thing that I'm just going to talk about. How do we do schooling, and does it make sense? Now, that does not mean that we should lower standards, because we can't afford to lower expectations for learning. We can't afford. The economy is too complicated. The world is too scary if you don't have the tools that you need to navigate the world. So we need to keep high standards. But what I would say is, while we're keeping those high expectations, we need to rethink how we go about teaching and learning so it feels more relevant for you, the people who are receiving the education in your schools. These are your schools. One of the things I say is sometimes people, they drop out when they're in 4th grade or when they're in 5th grade, and then they wait until they're allowed to drop out, and they drop out again when they're in 10th grade or 11th grade. I know that we're losing people very early on, and I don't want to lose a single person. So we have to think about how we're doing schooling differently. And as the Senator mentioned, thinking about things like summer work and opportunities, really opportunities to do something over the summer to maybe earn a little bit of money, but also maybe to get some skills that are going to be relevant, are going to matter, not only when you go back into the classroom in September, but also when you ultimately go to get the kind of job that you want to get, a job with a progression, a job with a pathway to keep doing better and better things. Those kinds of internship experiences, whether they're during the school year or in the summer, are just one kind of thing that actually can help make learning much more relevant than maybe it's felt in the past. And there's another opportunity that you may or may not be aware of, which is any student in Rhode Island right now, based on last year's budget, now has the opportunity to take college courses for free while you're still enrolled in high school. Any student in the state right now, today, has the opportunity to take college courses while you're still enrolled in high school for free. And the college courses are listed on the website. You can ask your guidance counselor, your teacher, your assistant principal, your principal. That exists right now. And one of the reasons why I think that's so important is we all know that there's a big step between getting done with school and getting that first job, or going into a 2-year school or a 4-year school, or any time of school after you finish high school. It's a big step. And one of the ways to prepare for that step is to get practice doing things that are hard while you're surrounded by teachers and your family who care about you. One of the best ways to get practice at doing things that are hard is to take a college course while you're still in high school. Because then you get a chance to say, wow, what would it really feel like if I wanted to go to college? So you can make a smart decision about whether or not you want to go to college or don't want to go to college. What would it really feel like, and how can I challenge myself while I'm surrounded by people whose job it is to make me feel successful and to help me actually be successful. It's so important to get those practice experiences before you start spending your own money on college. Because it just hurts me when I see people go into debt before they find out that college isn't right or that they weren't yet ready. So let's do those kinds of things while we're still in high school. And those are things that are available right now. In general, we're going to do a better job, and we've started, to make sure that if you're taking courses, they're tied to something meaningful, either in jobs or in college. So we know how this course gives you a pathway to do what you want to do, your first job, a 2-year college, a 4-year college, or any other kind of training program outside of high school. Because if we can't answer the question, how does this course make sense for your roadmap through the world, then we shouldn't be doing it. Again, back to my roots. I'm just a kid who's trying to transform the world inside, and what I know is if it doesn't make sense, we should stop doing it. If we can't explain it, we should either figure out how to explain it better, or we should stop doing it. So those are two things that I very much want to keep talking about. Reimagining how we're doing schooling in a way that just makes more sense for the kinds of lives that you want to have, so it feels relevant, so you stay with us, and we can do great things together. And then also, how can we give some of the power that currently resides in people like me, and how can we give it to you and your local school community so we can really make sure that the school is doing what makes sense for you in your neighborhoods, in your life, so it just helps get you on the path that you think is important for yourself. This is just the beginning. Obviously the answers are not easy, and if we had easy answers we would have done it a long time ago, but I just want to shift the conversation a little bit, and I need your help. If anything we've said makes sense, Ashanti is here. She's got business cards. She's going to hand them out. If anything we've said makes sense, then connect. And her job is to connect with the people who want to help us do this work, and we'll do it together. So, thank you.